Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective, where you get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. Happy Wednesday. I'm back with part 3 of people pleasing. Are you a people pleaser? Monday, part 1 was characteristics of a people pleaser. Part 2 were the causes and effects of people pleasing. And part 3 today on Self-Care Wednesday is tips to stop people pleasing. Now there is a longer version of this on YouTube where I kind of go over every single one in a little more detail than I am here. But I'll be honest with you, I think this is going to be the one that I do like, because giving people the tips and then of course putting the link in the comments so that you can read through them yourself, I think it's good for each one of us to establish what is the best way for us to move into that, area of becoming a recovering people pleaser, to not be a people pleaser all the time. It'll give us the opportunity, and I say us because whoever's watching this and myself right now, I'm going to go back over this and realize that, there are still some things that I need to do to fix, or to heal these parts of me that, tend to want to be a people pleaser. So I'm going to read this from verywellmind.com, and I will post it in the comments, the link in the comments. If you are having trouble with the link, I will also put the link on the YouTube page under the Aloha Perspective. I'm also going to upload this video to YouTube as well. So there will be a part 1 and a part 2, the long version, the short version. And you can also go to my Facebook page, the Aloha Perspective, and the article is in the comments as well there. So there are a bunch of different places where you can find it, the article itself. So the first one is establish boundaries. Feels pretty cut and dry, not always easy, right? Number 2, let's just go over this a little bit. Establishing boundaries is not saying you're going to put up a wall, right? It's just saying, look, this is right now, in this place where I'm at right now, these are the behaviors I'm willing to put up with and what I'm not willing to put up with. So, if somebody's constantly asking for help, and you're becoming more and more worn down, you have to set that boundary and just trust that everything is going to be okay. If true friends will still stay by your side, even when you are not there to people please them. Okay. In fact, a lot of them may sit there and go, you can say no. It's okay. I'll ask again later. So, and I think a lot of times that's just it. We're afraid to say no because we're afraid we won't be asked again. So, you could even say, I'm not up to it today, but maybe next time. All right. Start small. If there's somebody that's constantly taking, and you kind of just like, no, you don't want to just say no, especially if you value the friendship, right? Like, why are you always doing this to me? Blah, blah, blah. You don't want to fight over it. But also you may be timid enough that you don't know how to say, I can't do this, or I don't want to do this, or I'm not feeling up to it, or I have no energy. Just answer them back in a text that says no. Now, I know I come from an era where usually we would say something to someone, and I think in a way, the way we're able to communicate now does make, makes us a little bit lazy in how we can respond to people and having open conversations, because everything has to be on text, and text can be taken the wrong way. But in this case, what they're talking about is it's not always easy for someone to call someone up and say no. And the reason we know that is because sometimes we've been there, right? As a recovering people pleaser, I've tried to be the bigger person, say no, on the phone, and then been talked into doing it anyway. Got guilted into it, the passive aggressive behavior of the other person. So then you're kind of like, oh, great, just say no and let it go. All right. Set goals and priorities. Consider how you want to spend your time, where you want to spend your time. Is this something you want to do all day? Is this something you're interested in? If you're willing to go with the flow and have an adventure, it might be like, hey, yeah, let's go do this. But if it's something you've done already, or maybe you've asked them to go and they didn't want to, so you did it anyway, and now all of a sudden it's something they want to do, you can say no. Set your goals and priorities. Give yourself that positive self-talk. Okay, that says, hey, you know what? Right here, if you start to feel overwhelmed or tempted to cave, build up your resolve with positive self-talk. Remind yourself that you deserve to have time for yourself. Self-care is not selfish. Self-care is necessary. All right? Self-care is not selfish. It is necessary. So, stall for time. maybe you're not sure if you want to do it, or maybe you're worried that they're just going to be like, oh, what, just no? You know, if someone asks you a favor, you don't always have to say yes. And if you're in your phone, listen to the conversations, because sometimes we commit ourselves to things without even realize we're committing ourselves to it because we're not paying attention. So pay attention, but stall for time. So, here's the questions that go with it. How much time will this take? Is this something I really want to do? Do I have time to do it? And how stressed am I going to be if I say yes? Allow yourself that space to ask yourself these questions on whether or not it is something in this moment that you are able to commit to. Assess the request. Another step towards overcoming people pleasing is to look for signs that other people are trying to take advantage of your generosity. Is somebody taking advantage of you? Is somebody constantly saying, hey, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? And you don't know how to say no, right? Which leads us to the next one. Remember that relationships require give and take. There are people in this world that are going to take from you. And you're going to want to just give. And then the minute you need something, they're not there. And maybe they are busy. And you're like, okay, I get it. You're busy. But if it's a constantly, they're not there, crickets, and they constantly cannot, then you have to ask yourself, why am I the only one that they're asking to do this stuff for? What do these other people know that I don't know? So make sure that your relationships are a give and take. That doesn't mean that, hey friend or person or whatever, I bought you a cup of coffee, and then the next time they show up with, the coffee and they don't have one for you. That's not what I'm talking about. If you choose to do something nice for someone else, that's on you. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely 100% nothing wrong with that. Sorry guys, today my new stand will show up and I'm so excited. But that's on you, okay? Don't expect your behavior from other people. But when it comes to people pleasing, and you are constantly giving, and then when you need something, they're consistently not there, reassess that. Okay, reassess that. And avoid making excuses for it. If you say no, you don't owe them an explanation. Just say no. Or you can even say no maybe next time, but thank you for asking. Just be polite about it, all right? But don't let them talk you into something you do not want to do, unless you're absolutely willing to just be adventurous and try it, okay? And the last one, help when you want to help. You are allowed to decide when you help someone. All right. You are allowed to decide how you help someone. And, it says you don't need to give up being kind and thoughtful. Those are desirable qualities that can contribute to strong, lasting friendships. The key is to examine your motivations and intentions. Don't do things only because you fear rejection or want the approval of others. That sums that entire list up perfectly. Don't do things only because you fear rejection or want the approval of others. That is the difference between altruism and people-pleasing. Are we doing something out of the kindness of our own heart because we love to do things for people? I love doing random things for people. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not ever expecting anything back. It's just in my nature. But I've also learned to say no. I've also learned to say no to the people that are constantly asking, say, sorry, I can't. I actually have plans, or I'm out of town that weekend, or, I don't make excuses. Sometimes I'll just say, I can't. I'm sorry. So, and I don't really think you need to say the I'm sorry. If somebody says, hey, can you take me to this place? And you're like, no, I'm sorry, I can't that day. And I think the sorry part in this case is probably just trying to be, kind and nice and, respectful. But yeah, you are allowed to say no. All right. So if being a people pleaser is making it difficult to pursue your own happiness, it's important to find ways to set boundaries and take back your time. Remind yourself that you can't please everyone. All right. Remind yourself that you cannot please everybody. Keep doing good things, but on your own terms. Kindness doesn't demand attention or rewards. It simply requires a desire to make things better for another person. And sometimes it's all we want to do, right? We do kind things because we want to see people smile. We want to make people happy. But if you are pouring from an empty cup and you are putting your worth in somebody else's hands just because, through your kindness, you need to fill your own cup. All these other wonderful things, they're the bonus feelings. They're the extra rewards we get. All right. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.